Hi, welcome to Sunday, and I'm sorry I'm wrong in my last public speaking video because this is actually my second to last one. I didn't know I need to do this one until a few days ago, and it's called Practice Mock Interview Questions. See, our persuasion speech is done, and well, the teacher are very kind for us to help us in the future, so she has this mock interview prepared for us, and we need to practice the questions. And yeah, so this is me reading out my response to the 15 mock interview questions that all of you guys will get. I mean, all of my classmates will get. Yeah. So, question 1. What are my greatest strengths? So my greatest strength is my English communication skills. This will be crucial for the aviation related industry, or in general many other industries, because English is a language spoken all over the world. But it's particularly important in aviation because it's the only official language allowed to be spoken across radio channels, across when you're flying, all sorts of stuff. And people have always told me that I have a British accent, which I understand makes other people easier to understand what I say, because there are some accents like the Malaysian accents. I'm not being unfair here, but there's some other accents people find very hard to understand of. So, but the mostly British and American accents are very easy for people to understand, and I'm glad that I'm on one of those accents, so that's really good. Question 2. What are my most notable weaknesses? Well, one, probably my arrogance shining through along with my good performance, if there's any. This makes my relationship with people alongside me, my classmates or my possibly co-workers in the future, unwell, to say the least. Well, I try to hide that overconfidence quite a lot, but with little success. Well, this is actually quite apparent when I was in around grade 6 to grade 8. I was near the top, and I've won a couple of awards commending that, but instead of when I announced of winning it, I just bluffed and telling the guy sitting next to me that I know I'll win it, of course. But in fact, those people sitting next to me, they aren't quite bad either. Their total points are just like a couple points behind me, like barely behind me. So yeah, that's my arrogance, and that's one of my most notable weakness, I think. So question 3. What do you like about my previous job? What did I like about my previous job? What did I dislike it? So this is actually my first job, so I'll just talk about my time being as a student back in the college. I like the whole atmosphere. It's very encouraging, it's very friendly, I can make a lot of friends, and it encourages us to learn. But the one thing I dislike is being far apart from my families and friends. So I can't be there with them all the time, and I can only call them or Skype them. So that makes me having a bit of homesick sometimes, but it'll be fine once time goes on. Question 4. What is my biggest accomplishment in my previous position? So, and what's my biggest failure? So, my biggest accomplishment when I was a student was being a president of a club, the Chess and Bridge Club. So I think during that position, my biggest accomplishment is being able to bring a lot more people into the club meetings, to play and sort of learn these chess board games and chess together, and also card games. But my biggest failure is on the school's open day, where I forgot to ask the person carrying the keys to the storage locker. Yeah, our club doesn't have the president having the keys, because presidents are busy on other stuff. So as a result, I kind of need to scramble around on any possible sources, like perhaps taking any stores near our school, or perhaps asking the teachers, and to find games to find enough chess and board games and card games to entertain the visitors, so to speak. And I've learned quite a lot through that fail. I learned to always be prepared, for one, and also if in any case it doesn't go to plan, your preparations, you need to improvise. You are necessary to improvise, and you need to always know your resources around you. You have to have a good network to them. Question 5. What are my goals for the next 5 or 10 years? So first, in terms of job, I would like to have a job in the government, a solid job with good pay, obviously, and working in an aviation related department, to be the best, of course. It's my major after all. So next, I would like to further my studies after working for a few years, and hopefully after 10 years, I guess, 5 to 10 years, to grab a master's degree, or at least another bachelor's degree, just because. So why not do it immediately after the bachelor's degree, you might ask? Because from my mum, I always know that work experience always trumps over academic degrees, academic performances. So because what you use in work isn't necessarily what you learned in school. Well, some of them will, but not all of them. There are some skills that you need to grab while you're working in order to progress further in the social ladder, or in the ranks, so to speak. So yeah, so after a few years of work, and then go to get a master's degree, hopefully. Question 6. Describe a time where I had to deal with a coworker that isn't doing his or her fair share of work. So what did I do, and what's the outcome about that? So, well, I mean, there are always some free riders when you're doing projects, no matter in school or no matter in work. So I remember one time my group was doing a project where the topic related to historical buildings of our neighborhood, and there was one guy who didn't do his part of information research, and he also didn't come with us to look around the building we're supposed to dive into, our topic, our building that we're going to focus on. So after those two things, on the school day after we toured around that building, I found him and asked him why he didn't do the information research and didn't come with us. So he staggered and started to lie, basically. Started coming up with reasons. And so I said to him, dude, if you want to be a free rider, then continue to be one. I don't care. The project will still continue. We will still complete a project without you. But your free riding behaviours will not remain as a secret from now on. So on the day of presentation, I tell the teacher about his free riding behaviour, and we didn't even give him a script, a part in the script for the presentation. So in the end, the teachers failed him because of his free riding, and didn't deduct any marks because we explained why we can't work with him. So it's a reasonable reason so to speak. And in the end, the other group mates didn't get any points deductions from unable to cooperate with him. Question 7. Provide an example of a time when I took the time to share a co-worker's or a supervisor's achievement with others. Oh, this needs to go back to grade 9, I believe. And I and a few other schoolmates participated in a competition called the Hong Kong Budding Scientist Awards. And we're very lucky we won the champion. We win the competition. We're interviewed by newspapers, media, a couple of days after the competition. So one of the questions they asked is that, who do you think contributes the most to winning this competition? Except your supervisor, obviously. So when it's my turn to answer, I immediately said it's our group leader, which is a grade higher than us. He and the supervisor thought out most of the topic and the necessary experience to complete the project. He also knows a lot of the ins and outs of the project and help us come up with most of the answers in the possibly asked questions pool after the presentation. So I was truly grateful that he was one in our group, and I believe the interviewers certainly felt it. Question 8. Tell you about a time that I didn't work well with a supervisor. What was the outcome and how would I have changed the outcome? So our secondary school has a thing called project-based learning, also known as PBL, where in grade 8, that's the appropriate conversion, we need to, all of us of the grade students have to go in groups and do a project with a teacher supervising as a supervisor. So one evening when we were rushing the project report, I got bored and just started watching YouTube videos in the computer room. Well, our supervisor found out, and at first he just bumped me back, and he didn't scold me, just go back to do the report. He just kindly reminded me, and after a few times he just scolded at me because, well, he just lost his patience, I believe. So I grumpy a little bit because it's so boring doing this report. But in the end, I got back to doing it. Because, well, you don't want to upset your teacher, don't you? At that time. Well, so how could I have done to change the outcome? I think, well, I just need to concentrate more, really, and just continue to do a report until it's done. I should not deviate my concentration into doing other stuff. So, yeah. Question 9. Did I work with someone that I don't like? If so, how did I handle it? Well, yes. Well, there's like a classmate of me that always play with words and play with wits, play down on me with words and wits. So basically, he just uses communications technique and just play down on me, and I hate him. But we got put in a group along with a few other people to do a project together. So at first I'm of course I'm not happy because how am I gonna work with him? But then when we get to the group's discussion, things got even worse because he said, since I have that good of an academic performance, why not just do it yourself? Well, to this I staggered a bit, but I replied, well, I'm not really that much better than you, especially in the group work side of things. So why not you be the group leader and help us distribute the work? I mean, you surely, with such good communication skills, surely you can lead the group better than I do. So he take the role of the group leader, and in the end the project goes as planned, goes really quick and goes really efficient, and we got good results from that, which is good. Question 10. How do I get along with older or younger co-workers? So for now, most of my group mates or co-workers are of the same age or a bit older than I. Yeah, never have to deal with younger people as my group mates. So I would respect them because they had more experience, but no matter the job or the whole life, because they're older than me. So when they're available, I would try to ask them questions about their work technique and some tricks whenever I hit a bump. There was a research project where I get to work with students 1 grade higher than me. We go along quite well, and I respect him. And after we've completed the project, we actually still get along quite well, and I would ask him some questions about my homework if I got stuck, and when he's around available, I'll just, hey, can you help me do this question? I'm a bit stuck. And he would gladly help me out, which is lucky. Question 11. Tell you about a time when I was faced with conflicting priorities. How did I determine the top priority? Well, I'll answer how first. So first, importance. When something is very important,